Patrick McNeil joined now on the broadcast by a name familiar to Eagles fans, though in different colors this year, Zac Beauregard, now of the Halifax Mooseheads. Zac, how excited are you and the rest of your teammates to get this season started?
I think we're really excited. It's been something that we've been looking for since the training camp started. And then as soon as I got traded, I'm just really happy. And I'm just excited to see how things goes with my new team. I think so far it's going pretty good.
You were one of a number of potential 20-year-olds coming back from the Islanders, and there were certainly some numbers to be sorted out. Did you have an idea at the beginning of the preseason? When did you get an idea that you'd be traded and then it would be Halifax?
As soon as the season ended last year in playoff, we always had those meetings one-on-one with the coaching staff and tell us what's going to happen in the summer and next year. And then at this point, my plan was to stay with the Islanders, but then 2 weeks later, they went to get Simoneau. And that's kind of like the exact moment I kind of find out that I was going to get traded somewhere, but I had no clue where it's going to be. And then that was just at the beginning of the summer. Throughout the entire summer, I've been talking a lot with my agent. We've been trying to find me a spot, and then which team has opening spots for 20s and which has none. And as soon as they traded for Simoneau, I found out that I was going to get traded because I was either the fourth or the fifth 20 years old for the Islanders. And then I found out not too long after the training camp started that the Moose had made the trade for me.
You were a 10th round pick in 2017. You ended up making the team in 2018. So 3 years in Charlottetown. What was the message from the team after that first training camp? It's tough to make the Q from that spot. Did you have a good idea that you were going to be considered to make the team at 17?
A little bit, but when I made the team, I didn't know that my role was going to be the one that they gave me because I had a supper with, he's my agent now, Jesse Moore, and he used to be a scout for the Islanders. We had a supper right after my last season in Midget AAA with the head scout of the Islanders, and then they told me that I was going to have a spot for next year if I wanted to as a fourth liner, as a centerman there, but I would also be scratch a couple games and then be in the stands and then be on the lineup again. But then as soon as the season started, that was at the moment I really realized that my role was going to be a lot different than what we talked about in the supper because there was a lot of injuries guy. And then Jim gained a lot of trust in me and started putting me on the first BK. And then it was still my first year at the moment, so it was a big role for me. And then I was playing against the first or second line as a shutdown line. So it was a big role that I had. I was just really grateful for that, and I took that opportunity, and I think I made a great job out of it.
Your rookie season, you end up playing the Eagles in a 6-game playoff series. Didn't go your team's way, but very competitive. The 6 games, a couple overtime games in there. What do you remember about your rookie playoffs?
I honestly remember every single game of it. I cannot forget. It was my first playoff. It was just unreal. Everything was so fun. And then I was playing against the first line there. I remember they had some big names there, and then Mendelizzi was my buddy in the net too, so I was just having a great time on the ice, but I still remember how hard it was for us to lose in Game 6 and on PK when they scored that goal. I still remember I was on the ice at the time, and it was just devastating, to be honest. It was really hard for me. It was my first year, and seeing some of the 20s, that was the last year there, and then not wearing that jersey again was something really hard that you're not used to see, but I still really enjoyed those playoffs, and I had a great playoffs that year too.
Talking here with Zac Beauregard, who finds himself as a 20-year-old in the QMJHL with Halifax. With Charlottetown, you played Halifax and Cape Breton so much last year. How strange was it this year in the training camp to come to a team that you've just seen so often in the second half of the season? Did that make it easier or more difficult, especially given the type of game you play as a feisty player?
It was different, I'd say. It was fun in a certain way, but as the past 3 years, I've been dressing up in the Islanders locker room, so as soon as I got in the Moosehead locker room, it was pretty different, I'd say. But I think most of the guys, they were really nice with me. I think they were glad they're not playing against me anymore, and then it's just really fun so far. The boys are really nice with me. They had a really great welcome. I'm just enjoying my time in Halifax right now.
Few games against the Eagles in the preseason. Did you get a feeling for that rivalry already?
Yeah, a lot. I remember lots of faces from last year, and then it just shown how many games Mooseheads I've played against them last year, and it was still a rivalry again. I was just back into the game that I used to be last year because we played against them so many times. I felt it a lot.
Saw you mixing it up, I think, with Jack Campbell a few times. You two are 1 and 2 in the league in penalty minutes. Leading the league in penalty minutes, what does that mean? What does that say about you as a player?
I think it just shows what kind of player I am. I'm not really the tallest guy on the ice, but I'm always in the blue paint and having those kind of penalties where the other team are not really happy for me being their face. And I think that's just shown that this is my role. I'm willing to do it, and I'm not going to back up against anybody. That's pretty much what it is.
You seem to keep a pretty good social media presence. So based on that, I'll ask you a question. What is the best summer activity between hunting, fishing, golfing, riding a horse, or skateboarding?
I haven't been skateboarding in a long time. I'm talking about a year, so that's pretty much in the bottom of my list. But honestly, if I had to choose, it's pretty hard, but I'd go with hunting.
I don't know if you ever had a chance to exchange barbs with Logan Kelly Murphy on the Eagles. You guys could have had some conversations about that last year.
Yeah, I've been told about it a couple of times.
You're in your 20-year-old season. Obviously, right now, you're focused on how this season's going to play out with the Mooseheads, but have you thought about what comes next year for Zac Beauregard?
Not right now, no. I'm really focused on this weekend, first of all. This is my last year, so I'm trying to live every moment as if it's my last one. And then whatever's going to happen is going to happen at the end of the season. And I'm just going to give my all that I have on the ice and trying to get something at the end of the year, just sign a contract or get a tryout, the best that I could get. But for now, I'm just really focused on the present moment.
By the time this interview airs, Eagles fans might curse me for being nice to you, but best of luck this season, Zac. Thanks for this.
Thank you.
That is Halifax Mooseheads forward Zac Beauregard joining us here at the intermission. Eagles and the Mooseheads home and home series to start off the 2021-2022 season.